بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أفضل المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. اللهم افتح مسامع قلوبنا لذكرك واجلو عن بصيرة القلوب حتى ترى قربك. O Allah, open the channels. Open the channels of hearing in our hearts so that we would hear and would benefit from your remembrance and from your dhikr. And O Allah, remove the veil from the eyesights of our hearts so that it can witness your nearness, your closeness to us. The nearest thing to us is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes when something is very close to us, we do not see it, because we're busy searching far away. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the closest to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most loving one to us, more than our own fathers, more than our own mothers, more than our own selves. Alhamdulillah that we're here. And I would start, I have to say that I'm very pleased and very happy for one thing. We're in the masjid. It's one thing to have a class of remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's good. We remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He remembers us. That's better, that's sufficient. But to be in the masjid, the place that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the most, surrounded by angels, and you all know the hadith, the benefit of just this gathering. Not because I'm going to talk about something you don't know, not because I might be eloquent in speech, but what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, that angels now, maybe 50 people are here, 60, but the Prophet told us, there are angels filling this room right now. There are special angels that seek this type of gathering. And when they find it, they call each other and they gather. Can you feel this? Everyone, every sister, every brother, that you're surrounded by angels. And they surround this gathering with their wings all the way till heavens. Can you imagine that? A link between us sitting here. It's happening right now. It's the hadith of the Prophet. And all the way up there. And the hadith is long, but at the end of it, when they go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah asks them about this gathering, what were those servants doing? And why they were here? And at the end of it, which the part that makes me delightful to be here, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "O my angels, I make you witness that I forgave all of them." Congratulations. All of you here are forgiven. Isn't that enough to be here? Tell me about another place that I should be in. Mecca, Medina, yes. But around here in Irvine, I can't find another better place. As I always say, the only thing I would wish for is that I would be sitting down there and another person is speaking. That's my personal wish. But walillahi alhamd, all of us here are forgiven because we just gathered to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored the human so much. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us with His own hands. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, and I start with this, about the creation. Sometimes we view ourselves, human beings, walillahi alhamd, we're so small. Yes, we're sitting here in this masjid, which is nothing compared to California. And California is nothing compared to the earth. And the earth is nothing compared to the universe. And you look to the universe, Ya Allah, it is so vast, isn't it? All those black holes, galaxies, planets, stars, millions, billions of them we cannot count, Ya Allah. We're nothing. It looks like we're nothing. Why all this? And the atheists, sometimes when they look for this, they can't figure out that. What a waste of space, they say. Why? It is so vast. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran tells us why. Do we need everything? Do we need the universe with all these billions of stars? Allah could have created the earth and we're on it and that's it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, الله الذي خلق سبع سماوات ومن الأرض مثلهم يتنزل الأمر بينهم. Why? لتعلموا أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما. Allah tells us in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the seven heavens with everything in them, with all the wonders you see, created the earth with everything in it, this vastness, everything created, all this creation. Why? And the purpose of all this creation, Allah says one thing, it is you. So that you would know The purpose of everything is one thing, that you would know how much Allah is capable, how much Allah is knowledgeable, how much Allah surrounds everything. To relate to this, I ask you in the beginning of this class to do this tonight or tomorrow. Do you have someone that you love? Your wife, your husband, your mother, preferably if you have a mother or a father still alive. Do this. Go, and I know it's going to be a little bit difficult, but try this. Get $500 out of your pocket, $300, $500, and buy flowers with it. Can you buy flowers with $500? How many? Flowers and plants, and then go home and fill the rooms. You know, like everything. The bedroom, the dining room, the walking, like, you know, the car, everywhere. Now when your wife comes in or your mother comes in, what will happen? Can you imagine the shock in her eyes is what? How many flowers everywhere? What? Why all this? And you tell her, all this is for one thing. So that you would know how much I love you. Do you understand the meaning? You mean so much for me that for you to smile, for you to laugh, I'll fill the house, $500 for flowers. It's worth it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the same thing. Oh, you human being, you are so much honored in my eyes that it is not sufficient to create for you one type of fruit. And one earth, I created everything. Everything for you. To know how much I want to honor you. I created everything and you are in control of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us this in the Quran. He puts us in charge. The purpose of the universe is to serve you. Do you understand the meaning of this? The purpose of the universe, I created all this to serve you. So that you would know me. The purpose of you, you are created for me. And the universe is created to be your servant. The universe is away. All this, you know, like this person that goes and gets his mother $500 flowers. Do it with your wife. $500, you fill the house with flowers. The first day, what will happen? Oh, mashallah, you love me so much, you will be so happy. But let's say that you're generous. The second day, you repeat, $500 and you fill the house. The third day, fourth day, what will happen after 1 month? What's the problem here? We all know what will happen. It will be taken for granted, right? And all of a sudden, she doesn't see the flowers anymore. As a matter of fact, if one day she doesn't find flowers, what happened to you today? Where are my flowers? The human, we're like this. We take it for granted. And subhanAllah, sometimes we don't see it. And then she would be asking, does my husband love me? What are you speaking about? Don't you see every day? Don't you see what's going on in the universe every day? Don't you see Allah in everything? The creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanallah for this, is meant for the believer to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And subhanallah, the creation for a non-believer is a veil. Is a veil that veils Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some people cannot see Allah because all what they can see is what? The creation. They see the trees, the flowers, the ocean. And all what they're interested in is what? My share in it. Like those flowers. All what I want is what? I want to smell them. They smell nice. I know they smell nice. But there is something bigger than the gift. The giver. The meaning behind it. The one that loves you. Every time you see the flowers, you'll be smiling. Why? Because I remember how much my husband loves me. I remember how much my son loves me. I'm delighted to smell the flowers. They smell nice. But I'm delighted that they remind me of the love of that person. Similarly for a believer, when we look around, we are not veiled by the creation. Everything around us becomes a way for us to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A way to get closer to Him. A way to adorn Him in ubudiyyah. Worship Him. For a non-believer, on the other hand, the risk exists. This same creation that was meant to manifest Allah's attributes for you, His love, His mercy, will become a veil. Something that distracts them away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That happens with most of us in many cases. And that's the essence of what I'm going to be speaking about today, the concept of chivalry. Why am I saying this? Oftentimes, that's the case with us. We look to the creation, yes, there are beautiful things. There are flowers, you see a baby smiling. That reminds me, Allah's jameel, Allah's beautiful. But you look to the creation, and there are other things too. right? There are tornadoes, there are hurricanes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to be known to us. Yes, Allah is all merciful. Yes, Allah is all giving. Yes, Allah is all generous, Al-Kareem, Al-Wahhab, Al-Razzaq. Those are attributes of Jamal, of beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the human being has the ability to experience those with our hearts, really, and feel them, feel how close Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has other attributes too. Al-Qawi, Al-Aziz, Al-Jabbar, Al-Mutakabbir, the Almighty, the All-Strong, the Irresistible. And Allah wants us to know Him with those attributes as well. There will be things in the creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them so that I get to know those attributes. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Ghafur, Al-Tawwab, Al-Afu. Allah is the all-forgiving. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all-pardoning. Therefore, there has to be in the creation some things that is a manifestation of this, that enables the human being to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with those attributes. Therefore, you will see people sinning. And some people, why, Ya Allah, did you, and look at this. Some scholars said, indeed the human being has the capacity to be higher than the angels. Why? The angels never sin. They never sin. They're created that way. Therefore, they know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala experientially through certain attributes. But the human being has the ability to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as, yes, the most beautiful, the most loving, the most generous. But because we are able to sin, because we slip and make mistakes, we get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His other attributes. Al-Ghafur, Ar-Rahman. I know what it means to need someone to forgive me when I slip. I know what it means the difficulty in to pardon someone. And when I get to experience that. Therefore, the creation around us will manifest all the attributes or all the af'al of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why is this important? That's what we see in dealing with human beings. One problem that we often feel is that there is a barrier between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, humans sometimes, people, they stand between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Somebody that does an injustice act against you, and it's so painful that you cannot sleep the night, you cannot concentrate in your salah, and it's a distraction. Sometimes someone that you love becomes a distraction from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So many of us, when we look on the creations, we feel with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, each other, we feel that can be very dangerous. Right? And many people would say, therefore, maybe the best thing, I want to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's go to the masjid, away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the place that Allah loves the most, right? So, Ramadan is coming. And in Ramadan, it is the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to do i'tikaf. You know what i'tikaf is? To come to the masjid and spend the entire day, the entire night in the masjid. Away from everything. Not distracted by anyone. In silence. What are you doing in the masjid? Isn't that beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Imagine being in the masjid for an entire day and night. Doing what? Reading Quran, dhikr, dua, salah. Allah would love that, right? And indeed, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, he narrates a hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What is the reward of doing this? He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, man i'takafa yawman, whoever stays in the masjid just for one day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will distance him from hellfire by 3 trenches. Each one is like between the east and the west. Subhanallah, one day in the masjid. Do I need that? Yes. So when I hear these words, Ya Allah, I want to worship you. Let me stay away from the creation. Let me go to the masjid, right? Let me worship you. Be in dhikr, be in dua. Nothing distracts me. Only you. And that's beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Abbas himself, upon hearing this, was once sitting in the masjid, doing what? I'tikaf. He goes to the masjid with the intention, I'm going to spend the day and the night in the masjid. One day for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, come on. A trench, me and hellfire, like between the east and the west, I need that. Wallahi, I need that so much. So he goes to the masjid and he's making i'tikaf, but he noticed something. As he's doing i'tikaf, one Muslim brother enters and he sits. And Ibn Abbas in this hadith narrates, he looks to this Muslim and he tells him, I see that you are sad. I feel that you're anxious. Something is wrong. Is there something wrong with you? And he says, yes, O cousin of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I have a debt, I have a right that I should be giving to someone, and I cannot fulfill it. You know when you have a debt, you know when we sometimes experience that in the United States, and the agony involved with that. I don't have money, and I'm in debt, I'm in negative, and I cannot pay it. What will I do? And you know what it causes? Like you feel constriction and anxiety, and you want, whenever you feel this, you want to feel, خلاص, I don't want to be with people anymore. You understand the feeling, right? Sometimes when we feel down, we don't want to speak to anyone. And this man went to the masjid because of that. Can you imagine the difference of state? He's going to the masjid because, let me be alone, he's depressed. And Abdullah ibn Abbas asks him, and he tells him. So Abdullah ibn Abbas tells him, wouldn't you like that I go to that person and talk to him on your behalf? And he says, yes, please, if you can, I would be delighted if you can do that. So Abdullah ibn Abbas stands up, he starts walking outside, getting his slippers. As he's wearing his slippers, this man remembers, Abdullah ibn Abbas was doing i'tikaf, he was in the masjid. Now he's breaking his i'tikaf, he's going out of the masjid. And that person now, can you imagine how he's feeling? What have I done? What have I done? Here is Abdullah ibn Abbas trying to do something good. I came to the masjid and I'm now the reason for that person to do what? Break his i'tikaf. That's the last thing I want. You know when you feel down, and some people feel it, I don't want to speak to anyone. Why? I'll burden them. You know this feeling? And you feel that I can't talk to anyone. It is so heavy on. That man was in the same state. So he tells Ibn Abbas, don't you remember what you were doing? You're breaking your i'tikaf. So Abdullah ibn Abbas looks to this person. And the hadith narrates, tears come out from his eyes. Why? He tells this person, I remember the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet has just passed away. As he says those words, tears come out of his eyes. It tells us the difference between us and them. When he's doing something, he's remembering, he's attached to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He remembers him sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, I remember the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he told us that if one of you was to go in the need of his Muslim brother, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards him with as if he made 10 years of i'tikaf in the masjid. Did you hear what I just said? You go and help your needy brother, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards you not one day, not 1 month. How many? 10 years? 10 years of i'tikaf. When you hear this, what comes to your heart? Can you do 1 month of i'tikaf? Can you do? When was the last time you did 1 year of i'tikaf? I can't, Ya Allah, I can never do this. I can't, I know I can't. One day is difficult. And I look to this hadith, Ya Allah, I want this. 10 years, the reward of 10 years of i'tikaf. Just for, now I'm looking for what, is anyone in need? Does anyone need anything? Does anyone need help? You see this? It brings in us the spirit of what? I better be helping other people. The fastest way sometimes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is their creation, other people, doing good to them. But there is another meaning which is even higher in that hadith. That somebody would look in this hadith, the way I said it is good. That you know what, I want to help people because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant me this immense reward. But there is another meaning. You see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in it. How? This hadith actually is amazing. Why? I'll give you the example I gave before. If I was to come to the masjid and find one of my brothers here and he's sad, sad, not happy, and I said, you know what, $10 million, I give $10 million for whomever makes him smile. What will happen? I bet everyone is going to be trying to make him smile, right? $10 million? Some people will say, oh, you're so rich. Allah's so rich. But what is the meaning of it? I'm going to give you $10 million if you can make him smile. Who am I rewarding here? Who am I taking care of here? I'll give you $10 million, but what does that mean about me and him? I care about him so much. He means so much for me. Do you understand the meaning? I love him so much to the extent that I'm willing to pay $10 million for whomever makes him smile. When he hears this, is that how much you love me, Allah? That hadith tells me about what? Oh, you who are feeling down. Oh, you who are feeling depressed. Oh, you who feel that nobody, I can't speak to anyone, I'm a burden to everyone. It is you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at. It is you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. It is you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always telling you the door for you is open. As a matter of fact, I would reward other people if they get you. Do you understand the meaning here? This is rahmah for who? For the depressed. For the one who's depressed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is caring about them. When I see this meaning, when my heart sees this meaning, what happens? If I see a depressed person, if I see an anxious person, if I see, what do I see? I see the rahmah of Allah. This is the one that Allah wants. This is the one that Allah loves. This is the one that Allah... How can I not help him? How can't I? If I see Allah's rahmah and how He gives it, I would give it. That is the essence of futuwah, chivalry. What we want to speak about today. What is chivalry? What is it about? Very simple words. Reflecting the beauty of the divine attributes to the creation. Should I repeat it again? Reflecting the beauty of Allah's divine attributes to the creation. Put it in other words, to have a heart that is so polished, so clean, like a mirror, directed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah's nur, the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with His beauty. And as such, this heart reflects the attributes of Allah to the creation. If I experienced how Allah forgives, how Allah pardons, He's al-Ghafur, He's al-Tawwab, I reflect that to the creation. When somebody does something bad against me, that's what comes out. If I experience Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah, mercy, I reflect that to the creation. And therefore they say the definition of futuwah. Futuwah is chivalry. The definition of chivalry is what? هي استعمال مكارم الأخلاق أو حسن الخلق مع الخلق. Chivalry is to use the best and most honorable, most beautiful manners, akhlaq, with the creation. That is chivalry. Why, one might ask, why is it important? Is it just, are you just telling me have good manners? Be careful. Our good manners derives from the tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not just have good manners. It is related to the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a reflection of His attributes. This is one. But the second thing, why is it important? Why is it unique? What is khuluq anyway? I will start with that. When we speak about manners, akhlaq, what does it mean? Very simple. When we say khuluq, there is two words, khuluq and khalq. Khalq is the outward creation, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The way I look outward is my khalq, right? Do you care to look beautiful? When you go out, what happens? Why? That's where people are looking. I want to look nice. Sisters know that, right? And you take care of the way you look because that's where people are looking. But there is a meaning in it. What does it mean that I look nice? First of all, if I turn off all the lights here, do you see me? I'll turn off all the lights. You won't see me, right? You cannot see the way I look. The way I look is what? When you think carefully about it, you have to turn on the light, and then the light comes down, those photons, or electromagnetic waves, they come down, they hit my body. And my body does what? Reflects this light. So what you're seeing is what? The way my body reflects light, right? And I always say, when someone says, oh, mashallah, you look so nice. You know what he's saying? I like the way you bounce photons off your body. Mashallah, great. Your body is excellent in bouncing photons. The way the waves reflect on your body is great. That's what's going on. That's what you're seeing. The way, you see what I said? The way I reflected the incident wave, the incident photons is nice. I can have a khalq, but you would never be able to see it unless what happens? The light comes down, hits me, and the way I reflected will tell you about, am I beautiful or not? Am I dark skinned or light skinned? Right? And different wavelengths will make me look different. You put me in red light, I probably look very different, right? Khuluq is the same way. Khuluq, you see the similarity. خلق and خلق. خلق is the image of, it's your internal image if you will. هي هيئة راسخة في النفس. تصدر عنها الأفعال والأقوال بسهولة دون تكلف وافتعال. This is the definition of the scholars. Manners, the akhlaq in Islam, the definition of it is an entity that's ingrained in myself. It is the way my hearts look. It is an entity that's ingrained in me, from which my deeds, my words come out without me making them up, with ease, with no difficulty. What does that mean? Let's go again, let's do the analogy here. To know my akhlaq, how can I know that you're generous? How do I know that you're not miserly? Something might be incident on me, like the light, right? The light comes in, the way I reflect it is the way I look. Similarly for the heart, similarly for that image. Something must come down towards my way. And the way I would reflect it will tell you if I have a beautiful image, a beautiful khuluq or not. So for example, somebody comes and insults me. What happens? That's something incident towards my heart. Somebody insults me. The way I reflect it, will my reflection be a reflection of patience, forbearance, anger? I see someone who's poor. That's something that came towards my heart. How do I react? So when things come towards my heart, the creation then, you see that. When I deal with the creation, when I deal with them, those are like the lights coming inside. And my reflection towards them describes my manners, my khuluq. And notice in the definition something very interesting. The part that says, without you making it up, with ease. Why is that important? You know what? Sometimes I tell you, brother, donate $1,000. Here is $1,000. That doesn't mean I'm generous. That's an act of generosity. That I did it once doesn't mean I'm generous yet. You go to work, your boss tells you, good morning. Oh, good morning, sir. It's very easy to be nice to my boss, right? That doesn't mean you have, you go back home, you're tired, and here is your wife. Where is dinner? There is a difference now, you see that? Therefore, that attitude that was an act of generosity, but you weren't generous. Sometimes it's very easy to be generous when what? When I'm angry. Sometimes it's very easy to be generous when I have money. But what happens when I don't have money? When an economical crisis happens, how do I find myself? Am I generous? Or do I hold back? Many of us would do what? Hold back. Be careful then. Because that describes if you are generous, you will be consistent. Economical crisis, not economical crisis. Hardship, ease, I give. As a matter of fact, when an economical crisis happens, it is the time to give. Then this means I have the khuluq of being generous. That's a khuluq. And that I do it with yusr, with ease. When I want to donate something in the charity box, you can try it with yourself. How do you find yourself? Okay, try it. Go outside, write $500, $100. When you're writing the check, what happens inside? There is a fight. No, 500 is too much, maybe 200. No, 300. No, 500. I have, and then I do the act. That's good, alhamdulillah, I did the action. But it's not coming with ease. It means I'm still not generous yet. I'm striving to be generous, but I didn't reach it yet. You see, you understand the point? So that's the definition of khuluq. Now, futuwa, chivalry, is to use the best manners in dealing with people. I oftentimes describe it with Imam Abu Hanifa. If you want to understand chivalry, of course, there are so many examples, but the example of Imam Abu Hanifa, subhanAllah. Imam Abu Hanifa, look at this. One time he was walking, and you know who Imam Abu Hanifa is. Great tabi'i, great faqih. He was walking, and somebody said, and he heard it, this is the man that prays all the night. And he wasn't doing that. He wasn't praying all the night, but he heard people praising him. Have you ever heard people praising you? When people praise me, what do? Alhamdulillah, good, right? When people praise me with something that I don't do, some people would like that, great. And people like people to praise them with what they are not, by the way. Because they're doubting it. If I'm a coward, if I feel inside, I'm not sure if I'm a courageous person or not, I feel I'm a coward person, the best thing to my ears is what? Somebody would tell me you're courageous. Right? It would delight me. So Imam Abu Hanifa heard this. You know what he did? It is said from that day, Imam Abu Hanifa prayed Fajr Salah with the wudu of Isha Salah. He used to go he said, you know what, people are saying that, I'm not like this cannot be. From that day, he goes home and look to the manners, the way he does it. He goes home, you finish your daily work, and then you go home, and what does he do? He changes. Not in pajamas. He has a special abaya. You go home, and he has a special abaya, he wears it. He's alone now. He combs his beard, combs his hair, wears the amana, puts perfume. Why, ya Imam, you're alone? And then Allahu Akbar. He prays all the night. It is narrated one time he prayed the entire night with one ayah. Another time he prayed the entire night, he finished the entire Quran. And you're like, when we hear this, what happens to us? Ya Allah, can I do this? Some of us get frustrated. Some of us sitting here, Ya Allah, how can that be? I would never be able to do this. Right? But the same thing, look at Imam Abu Hanifa. This is his relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and notice his manners. The way he stands in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only that he's praying. When I pray Fajr Salah at home, sisters or brothers, sometimes, how do you pray? Pajamas, Allah, you make wudu, you're tired, Allahu Akbar. How do you go out? How do you go out? When you want to meet people outside, how do you dress? I care about how people look at me. Well, I don't care about how Allah looks on me. That's the first lesson. Something we can do. Do this. You don't have to stand the entire night, but can we do this? Have a abaya at home, a nice dress. Before sleeping, you go, and this is the manners between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I wear the nice dress. I wear perfume. I comb my hair and just pray 2 rak'ahs. Allahu Akbar. This is between me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Imam Abu Hanifa has another thing that has to do with chivalry. This is his manners with Allah. What about his manners? His characteristics with people. The same Imam had a person, his neighbor actually. And his neighbor was a very rude person. Imam Abu Hanifa, after Salat al-Isha, the students come to his house, to discuss different things, fiqh. He's a teacher. Every time the students come to his house, he starts teaching. And this guy, his neighbor, starts doing what? He had, like a oud, and he starts playing music, and he starts deliberately, with loud voice, singing poetry. أضاعوني وأي فتى أضاعوا ليوم كريه أو سداد ثغر. And he starts singing out loud, disturbing them, saying what? They lost me. And what kind of a lad have they lost? For a day that's hard. And he starts bragging about himself and how people don't know me and my state and they don't take care of me. And the students of the Imam are annoyed. Ya Imam, this is not acceptable. Every day, whenever we come and he hears us, he starts doing this. They got upset. So Ya Imam, and then leave him alone. Leave him alone. One day the students come, they start speaking, and all of a sudden Imam Abu Hanifa, where is أضاعوني وأي فتى أضاعوا? I don't hear him. What happened? Our neighbor, there is no disturbance today. And one of the students tells the Imam, you have glad tidings, Ya Imam, Alhamdulillah, Allah relieved you. Today, this man, his manners were not that good. He fought with the police, and he's in prison now. Allah relieved. He said, what did you say? He said, Alhamdulillah, Allah relieved you of him, he's in prison. He said, in prison? He stops the lesson, gets his abaya. Where's his abaya? It was night time, and he goes out. Where, Ya Imam, where are you going? He heads to the Khalifa, the president. This is Imam Abu Hanifa. He heads to the Khalifa. It's night time. He knocks the door. The soldiers come out. Who? Imam Abu Hanifa. What do you want? I want to talk to the Khalifa. Can you imagine? I want to talk to the president. And then he's sleeping. No, tell him I'm at the door. And this soldier goes in. Ya Sayyidi, the Khalifa. Imam Abu Hanifa is at the door. He says, what are you saying? Imam Abu Hanifa never comes to me. He doesn't come in the daytime. He will never come in the night. What are you saying? He said, no, he's at the door. And the Khalifa goes, what do you want? Imam Abu Hanifa, what do you want? Tells you about the status of this man. What do you want? And he says, my neighbor is in prison. If he did something wrong, I'll pay him, I'll pay his bail, I'll bail him out, whatever is necessary. I'm here to intercede for his behalf. Anything he did, I'm there for him. Let me know. He says, خلاص ya Imam, go home tomorrow in the morning. He says, no, now. Today, now. So the Khalifa sends one of the soldiers, go and they go with the Imam. And the Imam pays from his pocket, pays the money. And this person, this neighbor of Imam Abu Hanifa sitting in the prison, he finds the door opening. And he finds Imam Abu Hanifa in front of him. And Imam Abu Hanifa starts walking, saying what? أضاعوني وأي فتى أضاعوا. They lost me, and what kind of a lad have they? He said, stop ya Imam, no. Nobody lost me. I lost myself. And he turns 180 degrees. And he becomes one of the best students of Imam Abu Hanifa. That act tells you about chivalry. Why? As they define chivalry, أن تنصف ولا تنطلق. يعني أن تنصف الخلق منك ولا تنتصف لنفسك. Chivalry is to fulfill people's right upon you, but never to ask of your rights from them. What does that mean? Imam Abu Hanifa, it's apparent that he has power, he has authority. He could have said, you know what, I want my neighborly rights. It's my right that you respect me. He could have placed him in prison. But when it came to his rights, he dropped it. Notice the word his rights. My rights, I give them away. But when it came to other people's rights, he fulfilled them. That is chivalry. To fulfill others' people's right. And not to ask for your own. That's the definition of chivalry. And one way to define it. There are other definitions. For example, Ja'far ibn Muhammad, one very righteous person, the descendant of the Prophet ﷺ. A person asked him, what is chivalry? He said, what do you say about chivalry? What is your own opinion about yani? He said, well, chivalry is when I'm given, I'm thankful. And when people deprive me, when you're deprived, I'm patient. Right? And remember, Ja'far ibn Muhammad, this is a scholar speaking now. That's at their level. So he said, no. That is how dogs are. That's how dogs are. Dogs are like that. You give them, they're happy. They're thankful. You don't give them, they're patient. So he said, what do you say about chivalry then? What is your standard? He said, no. Chivalry, when we are given, إِذَا أُعْطِينَا آثَرْنَا وَإِذَا حُرِمْنَا شَكَرْنَا. When we are deprived, we are thankful. And when we are given, we favor others over ourselves. Ithar. Let me give you a story that you can relate to. This is a story of a man by the name of Abu Nasr al-Sayyad. Very poor person, a person that was very poor. And this story has a meaning that I would reflect on with the hadith actually. Very poor person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed him that way. And he is so poor, he cannot feed his own kids. Do you know how it feels? Do you ever... Mothers here would understand it. If you have a baby, if you have a child at home, and he's crying because he's hungry, and there is no food at home, this man can do nothing. And brothers, we understand that. When we do not have a job, and our home is crumbling, what do you feel like? I'm unable to sustain my family. You know how depressing it is? And my kids are crying, and the bills are coming, and I can't even feed them. There's no food at home. And this man is in that state. And he used to be like a fisherman, and he's sitting, and one sheikh comes to him, tells him, what's going on? He says, I have nothing. And tells him, no, take your net, your fishing net, go to the sea, and say Bismillah, and throw it. And he makes dua for him. And this man goes, takes his net, Bismillah, makes dua, throws it. He pulls it, one fish comes out. One. And the man became delighted. One fish, I can sell it. And he takes the fish, goes to the marketplace quickly. He sells one fish, gets a little bit of money, hurries, gets some food, bread and a little bit of sweet on it. And now he's heading home. I want you to imagine his state. I have something to... And what was he imagining? The happiness of my kids when I enter to them with the food, right? And he's heading home, probably smiling. You can imagine his state. I have something. On the way, he sees a woman. And he says, I looked to the woman, she didn't say a word, but I understood what's going on. I saw a woman and her child. And her child, this child of hers, his eyes were locked on the bread. He's hungry. And I looked to the woman and I understood what she is as hungry as me. But she didn't speak a word. But he said, I completely understand what I saw. I know how she's feeling, and their kid, this kid of hers, and the way he looked to the food. And he said, at that moment, I said, you know what? Here. He took the bread, he took the sweets, and he said, take it. It's for you. Eat it. He said, once I did that, I saw this kid, the smile that came on his face, his happiness, the woman was in tears, crying, thankful for me. And he said, this act is ithar. I need it. It's very difficult. This is beyond generosity. This is beyond being generous. You're favoring others over yourself. He gave it. And he felt it. You know how great this act is. As he's walking back home though, what happened? He started remembering what will happen to my kids. Oh my God, what did I do? You know shaitan, right? And maybe I should have given them half and kept half. What my kids, what have I done? What now? You know, oh my God. And thoughts come to your mind. And all of a sudden he hears someone calling his name. Abu Nasr al-Sayyad, where is Abu? He said, yes, it's me. It's the marketplace. It's me. He said, you are Abu Nasr al-Sayyad? Yes. He said, you know what? I used to work with your father. Long time ago. I was the friend of your father. We used to do business together. One day he gave me money. And I went into a business in a faraway place. And the money multiplied. And since then, I'm looking for you to give you the money that belongs to you. Here, 30,000 dinars. And the man was like, 30, just 1 minute ago, he didn't have 1 dirham, 1 penny. Now 30,000 dinar, Ya Allah. Allah's so generous. And the story didn't end. And he said, from that day we became rich, Alhamdulillah. And I didn't forget what happened. I used to give charity, 100 dirhams, 200 dirhams, you know, charitable. Until one night, I saw a dream. And in that dream, it was Judgment Day. And the angels were calling names of people. And somebody called my name. The angels called me. And it was time for me to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I saw angels calling, bring his deeds. What deeds have he? And he said, I saw the scale. The scale of the good deeds and the scale of the bad deeds. And I saw my bad deeds. And they were heavy. And the angels called, where is his good deeds? And I saw my good deeds falling. But they're like feather. They're like cotton. You know, the 100 dirhams that I give the charity, it falls in. It's light. Why? You give 100, here is $100, self-admiration. Look what I did. That reduces it. Here is $5,000 and I brag. Here is $10,000 and I show off. And he said, all those deeds are light. And the deeds are coming down and the balance is not moving. And then I was so scared. And then the angels asked, is there anything left for him? Anything left? And they said, no, there is nothing left. And he said, I was terrified. What will happen? And then one angel calls, no, there is still 3 things left. 3 things left. And he said, what? And he said, I saw the loaf of bread that I gave to that woman. It fell, a loaf of bread, fell into my good deeds scale. And once it fell there, it moved it. It was so heavy that it starts moving down. And I was hopeful. And then they started calling. Anything else? He said, yes, there is more. Yes, there is more. And then he said, I saw the smile of the woman. The smile of the child, sorry. When I gave him the bread, the way he smiled, I saw the smile coming in a physical form. It fell into the scale of the good deeds. And it starts moving. It moved, and now they're equal. And they started anything else, and he said, yes, there is one more. And then I saw the tears, the drop of tears of that woman. Her happiness when I did that for her, it was like an ocean. An ocean that came down, and my good deeds fell down and completely outweighed my evil deeds. And I woke up. What is the moral of this story? So many lessons you can draw from this. One deed. It was difficult, wasn't it? Ithar. One time, but in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is that deed that might make you enter Jannah. And that's the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Consistent with this, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, nothing is heavier on the scales of the son of Adam on the day of judgment more than husnul khuluq. What is the heaviest thing in my deeds? Prayers is heavy. Hajj, heavy. Zakah, heavy. But the Prophet ﷺ said, the heaviest thing you'll find on the day of judgment, on the balance of your good deeds, is good manners. Showing good manners to others. And it's because it's difficult. It is difficult. Zayn al-Abidin, I said this before, Zayn al-Abidin one time, and look at the difficulty of this. One time he had a baby. You know when you have a baby and you hug the baby and you love him, and he had this person, and this person wasn't careful. A servant, basically. A slave or a servant at the time, wasn't careful, negligent. She had the boiling water. And she comes in, and she trips. And the boiling water falls on the baby. If it was you, what would you do? And the baby, can you imagine your son, boiling water coming on him and the burns and the baby dies? It's an accident. What happens? If it's me, what happens? Honestly, what happened? He was angry. Of course, like the baby. And negligence. You have boiling water, wouldn't you be careful? Right? So, and she saw that in his face. And she immediately recited the verse from the Quran. وَالْقَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظِ. This verse in Al-Imran. Those who can suppress their anger. And Ali Zayn al-Abidin said, I suppressed my anger. That's the first level. I suppressed my anger. وَالْعَافِينَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. The verse continues. And those who pardon people. You can suppress anger, but I didn't pardon you. He said, I pardoned. And she said, continued. وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And Allah loves those who do good, repels evil with good. He said, go, you are free. Do you understand? Somebody that killed your baby. Look at that. That's what's incident on me. And what's the output? Go, you are free. Is that easy? Today we can't forgive each other. For what? We fight over what? We can't just even suppress my anger. I can't. I'm an angry person. Futu was about this. How to change this? How can I change? What are the necessary steps? And this is what we're going to be speaking about next time. The degrees, the levels, the necessary steps, so that I can change. How do you think that is in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you think a person that does this, won't Allah forgive him? That deed that he just did right there, how heavy is it on his scale? What we conclude, or something, husn al-khuluq, sometimes it takes one time, one good deed that you do in your life, that might be the deed that saves me. View things that way. View people that way. When I walk outside, this is what I'm looking at. If a person insults me severely, I remember this, you know what? That might be the time. If I can repel this with goodness, if I show goodness to him, what will Allah show to me? The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. This is, when people used to study hadith with scholars of hadith, this is the hadith they started with. It is called the hadith al-musalsal bil-awwaliyya. Why? Musalsal bil-awwaliyya, whose chain of transmission is of being first. Why? Because when people sit to learn hadith, the scholar would start. And the first hadith he would teach them is this hadith. Ar-Rahimun yarhamuhum ar-Rahman. Yarhamu man fil ard. Yarhamukum man fis sama'. Those who shows mercy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show them mercy and compassion. Be compassionate to the ones on earth. And the one in heaven will be compassionate to you. The way I am to the creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to reciprocate that to me. If I demand from the creation my rights, justice, my rights, can I afford that Allah treats me the same way? When I see somebody transgressing against me, this is what I remember. Let me forgive, might Allah forgive me. And this is the first hadith. Scholars used to say, I heard from my sheikh and it was the first thing I heard from him. And he heard from his sheikh and it was the first thing he heard from him. All the way to the Prophet. This hadith. Rahman. Rahman. This is the essence again. This is the essence of futu. As-safh an atharat al-ikhwan. To pardon the slips of your brothers. To be able to show, I can pardon. One thing I want to finish with, it's getting to be long and I didn't even finish everything. But what
When we speak about manners, what is so special about Islamic manners and the relation with Tawheed? Everybody, you can go, an atheist might tell you, know what, I have good manners. Everybody has good manners. Well, we have something unique here. Our good manners derives from Allah's attributes. The reason I'm compassionate with people, because I received compassion from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The way I'm forgiving people, because I saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness. I'm reflecting divine attributes. We attach our manners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? What defines beauty? What is beautiful in my eyes? The source of beauty is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I am dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when I am connected with the source of beauty, my acts are truly beautiful. Some example that, it's a little bit funny, but this is a true story that happened also. There is one of our sisters, and she had a cat. You learn from everything. As I just started, we learn everything around us is for us to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She had a cat. One time she's praying, Salat al-Fajr, Allahu Akbar, you're praying Salat al-Fajr. And here comes the cat. Cat comes in. The cat loves the owner. You're my owner, I love you, right? So this cat comes in, and the sister is praying Fajr Salah, right? And some sisters, tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having reliance on Allah, right? Praying. And here comes the cat with what? With a mouse in its mouth. Carrying a mouse. And the cat minds, for a cat, a mouse is a very precious thing. Very special gift. And since you're my owner, the cats do that, by the way. They want to show you. Actually, they come and they put it on your feet. This is their way I'm being thankful to you. Look, since you're a nice person, look what I got you. Look how good I am. A mouse. And the cat is walking, coming in very proud, and this sister is Allahu Akbar, and you're in Salah, and you look, and here's the cat coming. What's that? It's a mouse. What would you do? Allah musta'an, you know what will happen to the Salah, you try to finish, and the cat is the sister finishes, and the cat starts dropping the mouse. And the sister tries to approach, and she wants to move the mouse, right? Yeah. The mouse is dead at that time. So whenever she approaches the mouse, the cat thinks what? She's playing with me. She goes to the mouse, holds it, and throws it to the sister. And she starts screaming. Right? And the cat, okay, we're playing. Good, right? Every time she approaches the mouse, this cat comes, picks the mouse, and throws it at the sister. And they go, no, right? And then it took quite a while to convince this cat, when she takes the mouse, puts it outside. But guess what happens later? Next day or the following day, sister is sitting with a group of sisters, a halaqa. Here comes the cat in front of her and her friends. Look what nice cat you have. This time, a living mouse. And in front of, can you imagine? And here a sister is now speaking about tawakkul and reliance, and here is a mouse in the halaqa. And the halaqa, of course, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Halas, and theoretical. The mouse is in, and the mouse starts running in the house. And furthermore, this cat did something even amazing. She decided to hide the mouse. Where did she hid the mouse? In the shoes of that sister. You see that? And the cat, why am I saying this? What are we learning here? For the cat, this is good. Look, I got a mouse. A mouse is a nice thing, isn't it? And I'm being nice, I'm a nice cat. Right? And therefore I'm bringing you mice. What's wrong in that? This is a beautiful thing. But for us as humans, that is the ugliest thing. If this cat, can you imagine if this cat one time you're sleeping, can you imagine this, and the cat comes in and drops a mouse on your head? Just imagine. Now, if the cat doesn't stop this, what will happen? This cat is going to end up out of the house. You and your mouse out of the house. You see that? You and your mouse. A mouse is nice for a cat. It's not nice for me as a human. Similarly, this is a big lesson, by the way. I know it's a big meaning here. When we deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a true seeker of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a big concern. What seems nice to me might not be really nice. I can be like this cat. Right? I want to pray. What is the best way to pray? Some people might say, you know what? And it happened in the days of the ignorance. People used to pray naked around the Kaaba. And you can argue, I'm being humble in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the way He created me. It's a khuluq of being humble. Is that good? What defines good? What defines bad? Another people might argue, I want to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the masjid. How about music while we're praying? You know, you put music on, you put some songs, it helps me be in a good state, it helps me worship good, therefore Allah loves it, right? Be very careful. Because you like it does not mean it is beautiful. Because I see that it's nice does not mean it is nice. The reference of beauty, the reference of what's good and what's bad is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The biggest concern, one of the biggest concerns of the seeker of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that I am inclined. That when I say this is beautiful, it might be ugly. Why? Because I cannot see properly. I'm not calibrated. So one of the biggest concerns is, Ya Allah, I want to do things your way. What pleases you? Something that I see as nice might not be nice. The best way to worship, in my opinion, might be the ugliest way. Why? Because I'm not calibrated. I'm afraid that I cannot see right as right and wrong as wrong. And this is the start for the true seeker of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to start polishing our hearts, getting our akhlaq. What is good manners? Many people, you can see it here, the debates we have nowadays. People see that sisters in hijab, oh, that's oppression. That's the ugliest way to look. And you ask them, so what is the nicest way to look? Wear shorts. Well, in my view, that's the ugliest thing ever. That's bada'a. That is haya. That is the most beautiful way to look. Are you kidding? It is not that, Allah, this is a fard, you have to do it because it's actually beautiful. Wallah, it is the best way to look is this. But other people, and the other way, sisters wearing, why are you wearing shorts? Why are you exposing your body? Why? Men don't do that, do we? Why? You're naked. That's bada'a, that's ugly. But for them, no, that's beautiful, that's freedom. And this is ugly. Who's right and who's wrong? I need a reference. The reference. The reference is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why we tie our manners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That way they're constant. Allah's constant. Allah's ar-Rahman, always ar-Rahman. Allah's al-Ghafur, the forgiving, always the forgiving. No matter what. When I tie my manners, my khuluq to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it doesn't change. People change, people treat me bad, people treat me good. My manners are tied to the attributes of Allah. The attributes of Allah never change. But if I tie my manners to my view, my opinion, the opinion of the society, what happens? Changes. It's confusing. What's good and what's bad? It becomes relative. And we slip and we degrade. And we continue to slip, and we fall. We don't have a reference. Therefore, the essence of this futuwah is in a very simple way, to tie our manners to the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before I leave, something to do. Today I spoke in the beginning about one thing, if you remember, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards people immensely if they are in the needs of other people. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us this very important hadith, من كان في حاجة أخيه كان الله في حاجته. Whoever is in the needs of his brother, Allah will be in his need. You know what that means? What do you want? What do you need in your life? What are you suffering from? I need safety. I need a new job. You know one of the fastest ways to get that is to make dua for the brothers for that. If I want something, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for other people of the same thing. As an application, I know a brother, and look at this, subhanAllah, that used to go on Friday prayers. And he tried this in Mecca, and you can try it here. You go early to the Friday prayers, and you sit, early, half an hour, and you do what? He's sitting, and he's watching people come in the masjid. People that you don't know. And he spends this half hour, everybody comes to the masjid, I make a dua for him. So here is a person entering with his child. May Allah protect his child. May his child be the most righteous person. Another person enters. He's an old person. May Allah grant him afiyah. May Allah protect him from disease. May Allah... A sister comes, you see a sister coming in. May Allah make her steadfast. May Allah... Can you do this? Tomorrow's Friday. Can you do this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the reward is immense. You would get what? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you need anything, remember this. The fastest way to get it is other people. To serve other people. Another application. We oftentimes speak, for example, the Muslims. What's going on in Egypt? What's going on in Syria? What's going on in the United States? What's going on in this masjid? It's messed up in this masjid. I hear people saying that. Oh brother, you don't know what's going on, you have to speak. Actually, I was told that a couple of 3 weeks ago. Oh, there are so many wrong things here. The sisters are that. You should tell sisters that they should obey their husbands. You should blah, 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 you know. And the person starts like, this message is messed up, and complains, right? And he said, why are you saying that? I'm being sincere for the Muslims. I asked them one question. One question, and learn this please. Before speaking to me, I want you to do this. Every night, you wake up, you make dua for those people. Make dua for them. If you cannot do this, don't speak about it. You know what he said? I wake up and I'm not going to make dua for them. You see what's going on here? Did you spend 10 minutes every night making dua that Allah relieves their condition? No. That's the sign right there. Make a wird consistently. Every day I make dua for other people. We're entering Ramadan. Same thing. I make dua for one thing also. America, the US, how negative it is. It's very easy sometimes for Muslims to criticize. You know, this and that, and this is wrong, and this is wrong. There are wrong things. But I ask you again, did you make dua for them? Did you make dua for Allah to guide people around us regularly? No? Then don't speak about it. Don't criticize. It tells me a lot about me. That's going to be speaking about this. From chivalry, that's not chivalry. You must be able to exert to other people. And the first step is making dua. I want to leave you with one also very important homework. Akhlaq can change. Manners can change. If I'm a miserly person, I can change my manners. And scholars spoke about that. One of the things and one of the ways that we start is the following. You start with the following assumption. I do have negative manners. Never start with, if I ask you, are you a miserly person? Do you have greed? Oh no, I'm not miserly. Do you have envy? No, that's not me. Do you have arrogance? No, not me. Riya, showing off, not me. You know what's the main problem? It might be in you and you don't even know. And so, wallah, if you read what scholars said, every time you read about one of those diseases, you'll discover, you know what? I do have it. I do have it, but I don't see it. The starting point is to assume that I have all the negative qualities. And before getting good qualities, I need to remove the negative qualities. And regularly, you make the dua, Allahumma tahhir qalbi. Oh Allah, purify my heart, and you name them one by one. Not from ugly deeds, name them. Oh Allah, purify my heart from arrogance. Purify my heart from miserliness. Purify my heart from envy. Purify my heart from hatred. Purify regularly. As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, and I leave you with this, Ramadan is coming, this happened to me personally, Mission Bayhou Masjid, first day of Ramadan. You know the first day of Ramadan? When does Ramadan start, by the way? The first day. Usually people come Taraweeh, right? Yeah. The first day of Ramadan, they start coming in Taraweeh Salah. Well, the first day of Ramadan starts at the adhan of Maghrib. You know the Maghrib Salah of the first day, that's Ramadan. And the Maghrib of the first day, how many people are in the masjid? You notice this? Not that many. So that brother noticed this. And he was in the masjid. The first Maghrib, not Isha. I was there, and like, he sat down, and I saw like the moment the adhan happened, Allahu Akbar, it's Ramadan. He goes outside, a check. Right? Charity box. He comes back. Right? And then, subhanAllah. And then He starts making dua, and I was like, okay, what's going on? So you try to learn. So brother was, and he says, isn't it now Ramadan? I said, yes, alhamdulillah, it's Ramadan. He said, I wanted to be the first one. I know in Salat al-Isha, everyone is going to be in this masjid. I wanted this Ramadan, my charity, to be the first charity. I wanted my dua to be the first dua. And then he told me the following, brother, I'm sick. You don't know I'm sick. That's why I'm doing this. And indeed, when a person is sick, giving charity helps. So I said, alhamdulillah, but he doesn't look sick. He's okay. And then all of a sudden, I get closer to him to hear his dua. And you know what was his dua? It's what I'm just telling you. Allahumma tahhir qalbi min al-riya. Allahumma tahhir qalbi min al-kibr. Allahumma tahhir qalbi min al-ujb. Oh Allah, purify my heart from self-admiration. Purify my heart from arrogance. Purify. That is his sickness. And when I asked him, he said, you know what? Every day, every salah, I'm going to be making this dua. The whole Ramadan. Can we do that? Can we? Sometimes we didn't even think about it. Be consistent. This husn al-khuluq is a very important matter. A very important matter. The Prophet ﷺ said, the thing that will make people enter Jannah the most is husn al-khuluq, good manners. It's very important. This is why the Prophet was sent. إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. This is the mission of the Prophet ﷺ. Consistently, regularly, be making this dua. Every day, every day, every day. Ya Allah, purify my heart from all the evil deeds. Oh Allah, purify. One by one, I'm sick. I need to get rid of them. Next time, inshallah, we're going to be speaking about practical steps, not the foundation. How can I change my manners? What are the levels of chivalry? How? I'm an angry person. Tell me how. I want to forgive, but I can't. How can I? How can I deal with someone that I see is sinning, someone who's doing something wrong? All those things. The levels of chivalry, inshallah. And practical steps on how to acquire those. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر جزاكم الله خير and please don't forget me and everyone from your dua جزاكم الله خير